What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Gaming with the Bros Cast, episode 110. We are 10 episodes into, past our 100th episode. So, yeah,
that is
another little tiny milestone, I would say.
The math checks out.
The math checks out.
It is 10 episodes after 100.
My name is Harrison. I am joined by my brother, my co-host, Nick. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good, man. You know, I'm feeling. It's been a rainy day today. It's Monday.
It has been very cold, very rainy.
Yeah. But feeling good. I feel like this is going to be a good week. We were just talking about it, but we've got some tingles. We've got some Nintendo Direct tingles going on, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But it's got me a little excited for this week.
Yeah, our little Nintendo.
The Nintingle.
Yeah, the Nintingle. I like it. The Nintingle. Trademarked. We got it. We got a good feeling that something's coming this week. But yeah, before we jump into what we've been playing and all that good stuff, news, Nick, how was your week? We had a fun weekend.
I guess you kind of know. We moved our grandma this weekend. We moved her into a independent living facility. So it was a lot of work, but
yes,
it went as smooth as it could have, I think.
Yeah. I mean, luckily she really just had a lot of clothes. Like, I've never seen somebody have so much clothes as she does, but
I know
it wasn't a ton of furniture, which is good because I know you've moved several times, but I mean, I'm don't plan on moving anytime soon, but I am absolutely dreading when I do because I just have so much just stuff. Like, I've got, a 2-story house full of stuff, essentially, an entire giant shed full of other stuff. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I know a lot of stuff I'll throw out, but still,
but just the process.
Yeah.
I would just hire movers to help you get things into the truck.
Yeah, I mean, I've never done that before, and I know, and I don't know. I've heard good and bad things about movers, but I think it's more bad when you're not there. I think if you hire somebody and you're not there, like if you're moving across states or something, or across the country, like obviously you don't really have much of a choice. I've just heard of nightmare scenarios, stuff like that, where people just take months and months to actually get their stuff. But I mean, if I was moving, down the road or whatever the case is, I'd be there and be fully involved, helping. But I'm not quite sure. I don't know.
if anyone in the chat has hired movers before, let us know. I hired movers just to get things from our apartment to the truck in my apartment in DC.
And then you drove, right?
And then we drove it down.
Gotcha. And
unloaded everything ourselves. But it saved so much time because they were doing the trips and we were kind of getting things ready for them.
Yeah.
And of course they had all the equipment you needed, the hand trucks and whatnot. So it made it a lot easier. And I think it was $200.
Not bad.
They packed it really well. They packed it to such an extreme degree that we had so much room left in the truck that things were going to fall over.
Oh,
so
God.
we had to get some clips to kind of wall off the wall of furniture that we had in.
Yeah, that's a tricky situation. It's okay, they're professionals, so they're gonna pack it as tight as possible. It's also
we don't have that much stuff.
Yeah, we don't need that much room. I mean, when we moved our grandma, it was perfect. You and I were moving stuff, and our dad is more or less the master packer, so he had everything as good as possible. And then it was right at the edge of where the door is, and that's kind of how you want it to be. So there's not a lot of shifting once you get it started. So yeah, I got Brittany a massage gun for Christmas, and I have been using that the last 2 days, just beating out the muscles.
I need to do that on my back.
Yeah. It definitely helped out a lot on because on Saturday, after we finished, just 2 hours is not necessarily a long trip to drive, but to do that twice in one day, and then pack and then unpack, and then
it's a lot. It's a lot for a day.
It's a lot for a day. Like when I got home, I told Brittany, I was like, I'm gonna need like an hour and a half nap or something.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I ended up sleeping till like about 8 o'clock, and got up. But yeah, the next day that's really when the soreness kicked in. So
yeah, I woke up and I skateboarded a little bit.
Oh God.
I just like went out to the cul-de-sac and skated for about an hour, and then Alicia and I stopped by the retirement home.
Yeah.
To see the room, and we were up on the second floor, and I was walking down the steps because our mom and our grandma were walking in, and my knee started hurting really bad, and I was like, oh shit, just give me a room here, just put me in. This is it.
This is it. I might as well just retire right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good week. I'm glad we got her all settled in, and I think she'll like it there and stuff. So yeah.
So fun times. Also a good week because been playing a lot of Pokemon.
Yeah,
just been grinding away.
Yeah, I want to talk about. I want to. You've finished it now, so I want to hear your thoughts on. We kind of talked about it during like the car trip, but just for the sake of the podcast, I did, just to kind of follow up on my Halo struggles. I did end up submitting, and Nick, I've already told you this, but I did end up submitting a ticket to Halo support, which I've never done for a game. But I was just having just the worst problem with just these little minor blips of lag that would happen every game, and it would happen 5 or 6 times, and it was like borderline unplayable just because. I thought you were about to say something.
Oh, your internet.
Your internet.
Internet.
Kid meets lag. Yeah, but so I submitted the ticket, and he's like, let me get some more details, and I kind of described what was happening. And then like the next day he's like, yeah, sorry, there's nothing we can do at this moment. If we end up fixing it on like another update, we'll let you know. And I was like, all right. I mean, I didn't expect nothing anyways, and then I booted up the game the next day, and it freaking worked like flawlessly. So this is why I don't complain about stuff when it like directly to people, because it's just not worth the trouble.
Yeah.
Like anytime, I feel like anytime I've ever spoken up or complained about anything, it just, the world fixes itself. Like it's fine.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think what happened was you were probably getting too good, and they had to flip on like a little lag switch, and then you caught on, and then they turned it off.
I did that first game where I realized I was good to go. I just murdered.
Went off.
Yeah, I just went off. Yeah, I think as much as I loved Halo, I think the challenges have really kind of dampened my mood on that game. I think, and I know a lot of them are to do with like the specific playlist and like the events that are going on, but yeah,
it's no longer about the game.
Yeah, it's just about the challenges and getting that done. And like if I don't want to play Fiesta, or I don't want to play SWAT or Tactical Slayer, I just want to play some regular Team Slayer or something. I just feel like I'm forced to do that because I've already maxed out the battle pass. So, and I don't know how I doubt they're gonna transfer the XP that you're kind of gaining, I guess, with every match over into because I think at this point people just be boosted so high up on the next battle pass that or maybe you get like half the experience. I don't know how they're gonna do that, but yeah, I just feel like not necessarily a waste of time, but it's just forcing me to play stuff that I don't necessarily want to play for the sake of the challenge or the weekly challenge or whatever the case is. So
yeah, which just increases frustration if you have a bad match.
Yeah. Or
I didn't even want to play this in the first place,
Yeah. Or I've got the last one I've got right now is it's get 10 kills in a zone. In
which
PvP,
is very specific.
Which is very specific, but I'm assuming it's meaning like stronghold or something where you're defending yours. It's not super specific in that aspect, but I think that's what it means. But I really can only play that in either like Slayer or Big Team Battle, which I think is fixed now. They just had a new update, so I haven't tried that.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's just these specific things and there's not a specific playlist for that game type. So it's, and I was playing ranked and I was trying to do it and I backed out of like 2 or 3 matches and then it's like, oh, you're banned for an hour. And I was like, all right, whatever. So
dang.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where I'm at with Halo. It's still fun. Like just to play it itself.
Still a great game at its core.
Yeah. I just think hopefully the next season they can really kind of find a nice foothold for that game and just continue on with the momentum, because right now it's just kind of not necessarily stale, but I just don't like the challenge stuff right now. So
I think a lot of people have probably fallen off by now, whether they've completed the battle pass or they just moved on to other games. And
yeah,
I'm kind of hoping that season 2 is a soft relaunch of the game where they add in co-op campaign, they add Forge, and then maybe some new maps and modes. Yeah,
I mean, like, zombies or infection or whatever, something different. Or have they ever put in a Warthog Wars in this game? Not officially. Oh my God, that was like some of the best times ever.
That'd be so easy because they could just increase the damage output on a Warthog, like on the actual like impact of a Warthog, and in that way, it would be more in line with Halo 2. Yeah. Because I feel like the collision in that game was a lot more impactful than
it was,
than Halo 3. I remember being so disappointed with Warthog Wars in Halo 3 because, like with the mongoose, you couldn't really kill anybody.
Oh no, the mongoose was like, it was terrible. Mongoose Wars. I just miss the custom game stuff. Like I haven't played custom games in Halo and probably since Halo 3, really. I mean, I played a ton of Reach, but I played a lot of just multiplayer. So that's Halo. That's my where I'm at with Halo right now. So hopefully season 2 they'll work on it some more and then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Well, Nick, let's talk about some Pokemon.
So I finished it. I rolled credits and then I played up until like the next ending of the game.
Okay.
And I still have like one more ending. I still need to get all the Pokemon and kind of like complete the Pokédex. But oh my God, the last battle, like after not right before the credits ending, but the one after that, before that kind of like second ending, so to speak, that one was incredible. And it was a trainer battle, spoilers, but it was I blacked out completely. Wow. I lost all my Pokemon and had to restart, had to do some leveling and some like switching up my team comp. And that is something I have never had to do.
No.
Essentially since like Gold and Silver, since Red and Blue, like it was really fun because I had to think a lot in this battle and then it immediately jumped to another battle with a certain Pokemon and then another form, and it was back to back to back. So like whoever fainted stayed fainted going into that next battle. So I was like, damn, this is kind of tough for a Pokemon game.
Nice.
So that solidified that
it is tough. It's a tough game.
This is the best Pokemon game I've played.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I
like completely. Like I don't think there's any question. It's such an amazing Pokemon game. Like,
I think, I mean, obviously like Blue, Red, Gold, Silver are like just top tier, like original Pokemon game. Like those are some of my highest regarded Pokemon game. Mm-hmm. But this feels like that same way when I first started playing those games back in the day. So that's why I'm so excited to play this game. It's just incredible. It's fun. It's awesome.
Everything about it's super fun. The battling, catching Pokemon, customizing your character, looking for resources, crafting, it's all done so well. And even things like catching shinies, like I'm way more inclined to do that now because you can see them in the overworld. So it's not like you have to jump into a battle and you're like, oh, maybe if I go into 2,000 trainer battles or 2,000 random Pokemon encounters, I'll find a shiny. Now it's like I can just run around the open world, and I see a Drifloon, and I caught one the other day. I just saw it, and I was like, damn, cool, nice. So I've caught like 4 shinies so far in 30 hours of play, and not even looking for them. But
now, whenever you are walking around the overworld and there's a shiny that's near you, it'll make like a distinctive noise.
It makes a distinctive noise, and you see like some sparkles coming off of like a Pokemon that's spawned. So it's pretty apparent.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've caught the side quest Pokemon you get for a shiny, which is awesome. Like that's really the first time since the Red Gyarados and Gold and Silver that they've actually acknowledged like shinies in the game. Unless there's just some dialogue. I'm sure there's probably some dialogue from like a random person in every Pokemon game that I don't really talk to a lot of people in this game just because it's
like, oh, there's a special Pokemon that's red instead of blue.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Oh, good story. But yeah, I am I'm like infatuated with this game. It's just so much fun just to go around in the world. And I mean, I know we said it last week, but that momentum, that thrill has just continued on, and it's just fun. It's just fun going through that world.
Yeah, I think adding in the alpha Pokemon is really cool because it just gives you another incentive to keep catching Pokemon.
Yeah.
I think having that research level is a great incentive, not only because it completes the Pokédex, but it also increases the shiny rate.
Yep.
Effectively doubles it. And then just all of the noble battles are pretty cool, and they get even more challenging later on in the game. Like, yeah, like it has its flaws, but you know, those are nowhere near pronounced as the good things are in the game. You know, like the good parts of the game heavily outweigh any of the drawbacks of it.
Yeah. And
the only real criticism I have of the game right now is the graphics, and that's not gameplay related.
No.
So it's not really a huge deal.
No, it's not. I mean, yeah. Again, we talked about it before. Like, Pokemon's one of the biggest franchises in the world, so you think that they would, have the money to make better graphics. But it is what it is. Like, I don't necessarily come to the Switch or for expect it to be blown away just because it's just not that powerful. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's still like in its own right, it's still like a pretty looking game, and in certain spots, there's some muddy stuff like textures, stuff like that. So some of the different biomes are a little worse than others. Specifically like that second one you go to, like the swamplands. But it's just dark and dingy. It's just kind of what you expect. But like the more tropical areas and stuff are look really nice. I think. And one of my favorite thing is the fact that so obviously like Pokemon Go, when that first came out in like 2016, like that was one of the coolest like Pokemon spinoffs ever. And this feels like they took a lot from Pokemon Go, not necessarily like the catching wise, because they, for Pokemon, Let's Go, they just straight up took that. But this is just, it encourages you to just catch the same Pokemon over and over again. That's what you do in Pokemon Go. You have, community days where, you'll catch 100 different Pokemon of the same type and, trying to get a shiny. And that's what it does here. You walk through, you kind of know the path, what Pokemon are going to spawn where, which kind of also gives me like Pokemon Snap vibes a little bit. So they just kind of blend in some of the best parts of these other Pokemon spinoff games into a mainline Pokemon game, and it blends and meshes really well together. Yeah.
And then they take parts of the mainline games, like the turn-based combat, and they ramp it up a little bit with the agile and strong moves. And it kind of just elevates the gameplay because you can choose to just body an underleveled Pokemon if you want to, or if you're, facing a stronger Pokemon, you can kind of, you have a little bit more creativity with how you play the game.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool. I mean, it's something that they really haven't innovated on since since Red and Blue came out.
Yeah.
Like the turn-based combat's been the same. They just added in, some quality of life features. But yeah, we're praising them for adding in like different types of moves, but it's innovation. Like it's something new, which is great.
Yeah, that's what we kind of wanted. We wanted to just make the game more fun to play and not so boring and sluggish. And this game is so fast. Even the load times are like pretty quick between different biomes and stuff. Even and then like the fast traveling within each biome is like almost like instantaneous. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, again, the theme of last week, it doesn't waste our time, and that's still my favorite thing about the game. It's fun, it's snappy, it's quick.
Yeah,
you can get in and out, do your side quests, get back to that person. Yeah, it's fun.
You can get more done in 5 minutes in Pokemon Arceus than you can in an hour in Brilliant Diamond.
Yeah,
like I can do 50 battles in Arceus in the time I can do 5 in Brilliant Diamond.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane.
Great. Have you done any of the mass outbreaks?
I've done a couple. Well, I've completely done one. I caught everything and then it was like it's over. And then I did one earlier or two earlier. But I think I ended up running out of balls or something.
Gotcha.
So
yeah, those are cool too.
Yeah. I mean, it's just kind of like a aspect of Pokemon Go where you'll have a bunch of the same Pokemon spawn, and you have a better chance of getting a shiny potentially, or just catching them to complete the dex. So,
is there anything in Pokemon Go similar to a distortion event? Where kind of like high leveled rare Pokemon?
Not really.
Spawn?
I mean, in which I've only ever seen, or I've been in one of those so far. No, there's nothing like that where an area has stronger Pokemon. I mean, there's like raids and stuff you can do that's going to have like higher level Pokemon, but that's just one specific Pokemon. There's no general area, which I haven't played Pokemon Go in a long time, so maybe there is something like that in the game. But when I last played, there wasn't anything like that. So.
Yeah. Because that Pokemon Go launched in 2016?
Yeah, launched in July of 2016, I think. Yeah.
Okay. So it definitely had some influence on Arceus in that case.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, I'm excited to see so I guess only another question for you, Nick, since you've beaten it. Is there a pretty substantial end game type to this game? I know I've kind of already asked this question to you before, but is there like a good end game? Like, cause I feel like most Pokemon games have a pretty solid end game, whether it's cleaning up legendaries or other stuff.
Yeah, I would say, and it's kind of weird. It doesn't feel like the game has ended when the credits roll.
Yeah.
There's obviously like more story to complete, and it still shows up like in the main story missions for you to do stuff after you beat the game. But I mean, there's probably 5 to 10 hours of additional story content after you beat the game.
Pretty standard with most Pokemon games then.
Yeah. And like you could run through it pretty quickly. Like it's a lot of like catching specific Pokemon, but
yeah.
And then there's like the overarching, and I don't think this is spoilers because it says this at the beginning of the game, but there's the overarching goal of catching all the Pokemon, which is what I'm still working on. I think I'm like 210 Pokemon in.
Okay.
So
you're getting there. Close.
Yeah. So like there's probably another 10 to 15 hours of gameplay there. And then of course all of like the side quests, if you feel so inclined to do those, and then finding the unknowns,
Yep.
finding all 24, 26 of those, and then finding all those will-o-wisps around. Like those are just kind of like overarching side quests that kind of span the whole game.
Yep.
And I still haven't completed either of those. So there's a lot to do.
Cool.
Like, yeah, there's definitely a lot to do after you roll credits.
Cool. That was always kind of my favorite part about Pokemon games was just going through that story, beating the Elite Four, whatever, and then you get to start doing like the cool stuff like legendaries and getting cool items and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm excited. I really, really enjoy this game. And I know that we had, you've tweeted out that, there's just no way that they can go back, right? Go back from this style because it's so good. And I know there's probably people out there that prefer like the old style of games. Cause I mean, a lot of people did like Sword and Shield, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, Nick, do you think that like the Legends series is going to be its own thing and then we'll have our traditional, or do you think they'll have two different going forward, or you think that's just too much? Like what's your thought on that?
Well, I mean, they definitely have Gen 9 in development, and I'm sure that looks a lot different than Arceus.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's, somewhat standard in terms of Pokemon games. So I'm sure, that'll release either later this year or next year. And, depending on how that game does, depending on how Arceus does in the long run, I mean, I know it's already kind of breaking records for the franchise, but are almost breaking records. And then, yeah, depending on how this game does, and then depending on how the next mainline parentheses Pokemon game does.
Yeah.
I mean, they could switch to just kind of like the Legends format, but I don't think they will. I hope they do, but I just can't see them completely abandoning like the mainline formula because it's been so successful. I mean,
yeah,
Sword and Shield was one of the best selling Pokemon games, even though it was kind of like panned by like a lot of the core fans.
Yeah. You think the new Pokemon, like the Gen 9 comes out this year?
I think so.
You think so? Really?
I
know it's been because like Sun and Moon came out in 2016.
Mm-hmm. And then Sword and Shield was 2019.
And then Sword and Shield was 2019. So I mean, I feel like that's too soon.
I think Arceus was originally planned for 2021 for like November. And then Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl was going to be a little bit sooner in the year. Yeah. A little bit earlier. But they both got pushed.
I just be worried about Pokemon fatigue. I mean, because if they're going to do, at least one more traditional Pokemon game with Gen 9, and then, obviously we just had Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, and then Arceus. And then if they continue that track record where they're kind of redoing these Pokemon game or doing like the remasters or whatever, that's a lot of Pokemon. Granted, I probably, if Gen 9 is going to be similar to Sword and Shield, I'll probably just pass. I'm probably good. Like Arceus, whatever is too. It's just too advanced.
It's too game changing to.
It's to go back. That's why I don't know if I'll ever go back and finish Brilliant Diamond just because I want to, because I mean I paid for it, but
maybe for story reasons.
Yeah,
to see the connections between the two, but
maybe I could pick up stuff along the way. I mean, I know people love that. I mean, some people just don't get Pokemon fatigue, but I just, I think we'll probably, if Gen 9 comes out this year, I just, unless they do something similar to Arceus, which they probably won't, I'll probably just pass on.
Unless they do DLC, because they could just do DLC for Arceus.
I see. I could see that, and then maybe them do Gen 9 next year.
Yeah. Kind of like Sword and Shield, where they had those 2 rounds of like those 2 expansions.
Yeah, I could see that. Like maybe come out in I don't know, October or something, November.
Yeah, because they could just add a couple more regions and throw in, 50 to 100 more Pokemon.
Yeah.
And there you go. You can charge $30 for that. You can charge 20 or $30.
Yeah.
And I'd probably buy it.
Yeah, if it's more Arceus, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, who would have thought? Who would have thought last year that we would be hyping up Pokemon? Man, we were so sour. We were so sour on Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl.
I think when we first saw Arceus, like we were both like pretty impressed, and then just kind of the really bad marketing, just no hype until like 2 weeks prior. And then it just took a bunch of overview trailers and then a leak to get excited. So that's not necessarily the way you want to be excited for a game, but also
pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, pleasantly surprised. It probably doesn't really matter to Game Freak because it's going to sell anyways. So, but any final thoughts on Pokemon? I'm sure we'll talk about some more next week as I get deeper and probably finish it. So,
yeah. No more thoughts, I don't think, but yeah, if anyone wants to let us know their thoughts, we'll talk about those as well.
Yeah.
If anyone doesn't like the game, let us know, because I've only heard good things about Pokemon.
Yeah. All right, Nick, you want to jump into the news?
Oh, yes. Harrison, it's my favorite time of the year.
Yes, we're coming up on good old Nintendo financials. Nick, I'm sure you've got the list pulled up as you always do.
Yeah, we've got some things to talk about this week. Nintendo put out their 9 months earning release, and a couple of key updates that we've kind of been anticipating. I know a lot of people have been waiting for Metroid Dread figures to come out. A lot of people are speculating it would sell between 2 and 3 million in Q4 of 2021, and it did. Yeah, pretty much right on the money. It sold. I want to get the specific number here.
Like 2.7, right? Something like that.
Yeah, 2.74 million.
Okay.
And that's just going to December 21st, 2021. Okay. So I don't think it hit 3 million before the end of the year, but
no,
it'll
probably still hasn't, if I was to guess, but maybe.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those games where the drop off is probably pretty heavy for sales.
Yeah.
Where most of it is within the first like 2 or 3 weeks, and then it drops off pretty heavily, but I'd imagine it's going to hit 3 million before the end of this quarter.
Yeah.
Which will make it the highest selling Metroid game of all time, which is crazy.
Do you think they do DLC for this thing, or do you think this is it? Or maybe like some updates to like, to the campaign or something to do different style runs or something like that? Like, do you think anything comes out of this thing?
Yeah, I think if anything, they'd add just like some options like that, but I don't think they'd add like any story DLC.
Okay.
Like I really want them to add like a randomizer of some sort, or maybe like some different difficulty options, or I don't know, like a speed run mode or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you think they'll have any story DLC?
I mean, it's a tough question. I mean, in a world where like Ring Fit gets like a couple of like pretty big updates, and I think I don't know if something like that was going to be planned necessarily, but I just think that game sold so well that they wanted to get something out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like maybe mean, maybe.
And I guess we should think about it. And I know, like, in terms of like Nintendo franchises, 2.7 million isn't that big. But okay, let's think about new Pokemon Snap, which sold 2.4 million as of year end last year, and then Mario Golf Super Rush, which sold 2.3 million. Those both got free DLC.
Yep.
And granted, they were like pretty small. Like Mario Golf had like a couple of courses maybe, and then new Pokemon
Mario
Snap
Odyssey course, and
yeah. And then new Pokemon Snap had a couple of like little maps added on. So maybe we do get something for Metroid Dread. I mean, if they're adding on DLC for games that sold less than Metroid, then maybe.
I think it's cool that like at this point, and maybe just because the Switch has sold so well, that pretty much any Nintendo game that gets released is going to be at least a million seller. Like, it doesn't matter how small it is or how, whatever the case, it's just going to sell a million no matter what. Which is cool. Which is definitely cool. Yeah. I would love to see. I mean, obviously, I would love to see some DLC, but I think it'll probably be some sort of free update. Whether it's some additions to, I don't know if they can really add a new weapon into the game, but maybe, I don't know, some multipliers or something. I don't quite know. Maybe you can have the option to start with the gun that you get at the very end. I don't want to necessarily spoil it, but that'd be cool. That last sequence, like something like that for speedrunning purposes. Something like that where they just open the game up. Which I'm surprised, like that's kind of what I want from Resident Evil. Like I would definitely go back and play Village if they added some crazy campaign stuff like multipliers or
that would actually, that model like of finishing the game and getting currency based off of like random challenges you've completed. And then what if you could use that currency to buy weapons early? So you could get weapon upgrades, right when you start, and that could kind of help you speedrun the game. I think that would be awesome.
Love that. Yeah, I would love that. That would be super cool. Just something, I don't know, something to make me want to go back and, I mean, I'll probably play through the campaign at least one more time at some point, but just another reason to go back and maybe they do it on like the year anniversary or something. I don't have a lot of faith that they'll do something like that, but it's always a chance. Yeah, it's always a chance.
A couple more figures here. WarioWare Getting Together has sold 1.2 million. I think that's the first million seller. There you go. The first million seller in the franchise.
Wow.
Game Builder Garage passed 1 million. Big Brain Academy, 1.3 million. And then the kind of behemoth of this quarter was Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, which sold 14 million copies between November and December. So, a month and a half maybe.
What do you know what the best selling Pokemon game is? Is it Sword and Shield?
I believe it is Red and Blue.
It's Red and Blue. Okay, I guess that makes sense.
I think Gold and Silver was number 2, and then Sword and Shield dethroned it. But I might be mixing up Gold and Silver with Red and Blue.
Blue and red, green, blue
are the best sellers.
The best sellers, and Pokemon Sword and Shield is next. After all's been said and done, I mean, this thing, Arceus has to be at least like 3, maybe even number. I think I'm trying to see what the exact blue and
Pokemon Sword and Shield is at 24 million.
Yep.
I don't know exactly what Red and Blue is at, but
I was trying to look that up real quick.
We know Arceus is doing better than Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl. I think it did better than Sword and Shield in its launch week in a few countries.
article was it was from May of 2021. Pokemon Red, Green, and Blue have sold 31 million copies. So
that's a big gap.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know if Arceus will hit that.
I mean, it's the fastest selling Pokemon game to date, right? Just out of the gate.
Listen, if Animal Crossing New Horizons can sell 37 million, I think Pokemon can do it too.
Yeah, I think so.
And then finally, for game sales, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has passed 43 million copies sold. So it continues to just smash records and prolong Mario Kart 9. So we won't be seeing that for a while, I don't think.
It's kind of rumored that that's what's going to be announced
at the direct,
at the next direct, and it's people are speculating that it's going to come out this year, the end of this year.
Really?
Yeah. So
man, they are really trying to recreate 2017.
Yeah. So far so good.
I was trying to find unit sales for the console. For the Switch, just broken out between the OLED. Here we go.
Okay.
So between Q1 and Q3, which was between Q2 and Q4 of last year, the OLED sold 4 million. So the OLED has sold 4 million units so far.
Okay.
The Switch Lite sold 3.2 million, and then the original Switch sold about 12 million. So about 19 million units sold in total. And that's compared to 24 million units in the same period last year. So definitely less, but I think the OLED kind of came out at the right time because it pushed some sales.
Yeah.
And I forgot to mention,
a lot of people double dip, triple dip with Switch with Nintendo anyway. So I'm sure. I wonder how many of those 4 million copies sold. How many were like brand new owners, or is it just people double dipping, triple dipping, whatever?
I forgot to mention Mario Party Superstars has sold 5.4 million copies.
Yeah,
so it's pretty good.
Best Mario Party game ever. So
yeah, and Nintendo, according to their listing, they've had 22 million sellers. So 22 games that have sold over 1 million.
Yep. And
then 7 titles by other software publishers have sold over 1 million copies. So pretty good.
Yeah. They're in a league of their own. For sure.
They really are.
They're not worried about any sort of acquisitions or anything like that.
No, they're not. And then lastly, in terms of hardware sales in total, the Nintendo Switch passed 100 million. It's at 103.54 billion units, which puts it at the top. I think it's the 5th best-selling console ever at this point. It's behind the Game Boy, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 2, and 2 others, or 1 other. But yeah, it'll probably pass PS4 next year.
Yep.
Because I think that's at like 116 million.
I don't know. Sony's starting
They're
production again. Them. They're still making them, so we'll see.
That's true. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff. I mean, I'm glad to see Metroid sold as well as it did, because that game is, it was our game of the year. So, super glad that sold well, and yeah, obviously want to see more of the 2D, and then Prime.
See that 3D.
Maybe we'll see a Prime trilogy this week.
Yeah, well, no, maybe. and then, sorry, I forgot to mention this, but in terms of games that are coming out in 2022, Metroid Prime 4 is still TBA.
Yep.
Bayonetta 3 is still 2022. Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 is still 2022.
Fall of the Wild.
What'd you say?
Fall of the Wild. I was watching some speculation videos, and that was a title that was mentioned.
One of the titles.
Yeah.
But is that spoilery? Because didn't they say that like the title would have spoilers in it? That's why they haven't.
I don't understand that mentality with Nintendo because
none of the other titles have actually had major spoilers.
Well, like, why does it matter? What we know, like,
well, because they're hiding a gameplay mechanic, and I don't think they want to reveal it until they reveal the title.
You think it's a gameplay mechanic that they don't want to reveal?
I think so. Kind of like, well, not like with Mario Odyssey, but kind of how they held back Cappy for so long.
Yeah.
I think it'll be something like that, but I don't know. Maybe some connection with Skyward Sword.
Maybe that'd be really cool.
Yeah. Exciting stuff.
Oh yeah.
Financial information. Just getting us primed and ready for that direct.
Exactly. Anything else from that report, earnings report, worth mentioning?
I don't think so. I think that was pretty much it. But it's worth noting that directs do often happen the week after their financial reports come out. So let's
dive right into it. I mean,
let's dive into it.
So it's heavily rumored that we're supposed to be getting an announcement tomorrow, or Wednesday with whatever date it's gonna be the next day. Because typically they give us like with a proper direct, they'll give us a day in advance to prepare tame our hype level. With stuff like Mario Kart 9 getting announced. And it's it's rumored that it's almost going to be like the Smash Brothers of Mario Kart. Like they're just going to have a ton of different Nintendo IPs in this game, which is super cool. I mean, I really like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I feel like I didn't play it like that much. Are you gonna, if a Mario Kart 9 got announced and came out, is that a day one for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I get super into, or I should say I got super into Mario Kart 8 and 8 Deluxe when they came out.
Yeah.
Because those games were just so good. But I think Mario Kart 9 would be a day one, or Nintendo Kart, whatever they end up calling it.
Nintendo Kart,
Smash Kart. I don't know.
But yeah, and it's also rumored to have like some sort of character pass, or not a battle pass, but like some sort of like thing like Smash Brothers have, where they'll add characters.
Okay,
maybe, but they're also supposed to have like their own unique set of abilities too, not necessarily just items, but also like a unique ability.
Okay, I was gonna say, like, why would I care?
Yeah, just a skin, right?
Yeah.
And then I don't think we'll see Breath of the Wild this week if it does happen. The sequel, I think that's probably more of a E3 kind of thing time frame.
Summer,
summer time frame. We may see some Splatoon. I would love for them to drop a Prime trilogy. I don't even want necessarily Prime 4 because I've never played a Prime game, so I want the trilogy so I can play it.
I think we're more likely to see Prime 1 remake at this point.
Just the first game?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, if they did it right, and like it plays like a standard, like a modern shooter would, I mean, that would be cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just crazy because like the Prime trilogy rumors have been going around for 4 years.
Yeah.
And then just recently, like in the past 6 months, it's been kind of rumored that they scrapped that and they just did a remake for Metroid Prime 1. And I mean, of course, I don't know which one's true.
Yeah.
I still hope they do all three of them, but if they put a lot of effort into a remake of the first one, I think that'd be pretty great.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
And then obviously the Wind Waker Twilight Princess dual pack is still
inevitable.
People won't let
It's
it
inevitable.
go, which I'll never let it go either. And then this isn't rumor, but I think this would be really cool, is if those who have purchased, which I think you could still find in the stores, but those who have purchased 3D All Stars, the Mario game, that they'll add Galaxy 2 to it for free.
You think they would do it for free?
Maybe. Probably not, but
Yeah,
I mean that again. That's just me. That's just me saying it.
You put you're projecting it out into the world, and maybe it'll happen because your dreams are out there now.
I mean, it's still so weird that wasn't a part of.
Yeah, it's almost like they forgot.
Yeah, it's super weird.
Oh God, press the launch button.
Yeah, just click the button, Nintendo. What are you doing? So that's just my personal thought. Obviously we're past Mario's 35th and all that good stuff. So, maybe not, but maybe they'll, because again, it's rumored it's Odyssey 2, something like that. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see.
Do you think they, if anything, they would put 3D All Stars back on the eShop and then add in Galaxy 2 separately as like a $20 add-on, or just like a standalone $20 game?
I mean, I feel like they would charge more, to be honest, but
really, you think?
I mean, it's Nintendo.
Yeah. You're right.
It's like, all right, we're going to re-add this game for another $60. It's an add-on to... No, I don't know if that thing ever gets added or comes out or not. I just think that's
lost to time.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool. Because I want to go back and finish. I need to go back and finish Sunshine, and I need to go back and finish Galaxy.
I would just go back and finish Galaxy.
Yeah.
Damn, I'm a Sunshine hater.
You are, man. That was the one you were most excited about.
And I did have fun, but getting the blue coins
sucked.
And I didn't get all of them, but yeah, man. There's ugh. Whatever. Great games.
Yeah, that's just my personal speculation.
Is there anything from like the 3DS era that you'd like to see come to the Switch? Like any franchises that were like 3DS dominant that?
I mean, I would like to have, like, for just again talking about Zelda, like Spirit Tracks and Phantom Hourglass. I would love for those to come back.
Mm-hmm.
Just as like a dual pack or something on the Switch. I think that would be.
They do that.
How would they do that?
Yeah,
I think maybe it would have to be handheld only, or maybe you have to play. Maybe you would have to play like TV and I guess that wouldn't work that way.
Either you have to use motion controls or you have to use the touchscreen.
Yeah, maybe it would be like a $30 thing or something, and it forces you to play handheld, which I would be totally fine with. I mean, I would love to see. You said 3DS. I'm still just talking about Zelda. Like Oracle Ages and Seasons. I would love to see like that come back. I would just love them to have like the Minish Cap on there. I mean, they would have. I don't think they have to do that much to the game just to play it. But again, maybe this stuff comes with the Game Boy Color Advance stuff that's rumored as well. So maybe they talk about that. Who knows?
Yeah, because what would be the next Zelda game that they remake? That they like fully remake, not like port over from the Wii U, but actually remake. Do you think it would be the Oracle games? I mean, those were Capcom, so it might be hard. Or would they just go for like Ocarina of Time and remake that?
Hmm.
And this is all getting announced in the direct, by the way.
This is, it's gonna go. I think I saw a comment. It's like this is either going to be the greatest direct of all time, or the worst direct of all time, or doesn't happen at all, or something stupid.
There's no in between.
I mean, I would like to see like Diminished Cap specifically, because I never really played that one. So I would like to see that one. Come out, as like a proper remake, like Link's Awakening or something.
Mm-hmm. I think that would I think that would stand up to a remake. I mean, it holds up now, but
yeah, I mean, like most of the Game Boy. I mean, I played
most Game Boy
Orville and Seasons, Ages and Seasons, like maybe 4 or 5 years ago on the 3DS, and that was
plays great.
Yeah, it plays great. I mean, it's 2D Zelda. Like they're for the most part great. I do want to go back and play. I never did beat Fancy or Spirit Tracks, so I know it's kind of a gimmicky thing with the. I don't know where I was at in my life when that came out either, because
you weren't at the DS Zelda phase. No. I don't think. I think you were in Halo.
I don't think I mean, because I really got into the 3DS when I had one prior to Majora's Mask, but I bought the new 3DS when Majora's Mask came out because it supported the nub. The nub.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much stuff that could potentially like Bayonetta. They'll probably talk about that. They'll probably talk about more about Advance Wars 1 and 2.
Kirby.
Gosh, Kirby. Yeah.
It's coming out soon.
Yeah. I feel like we could talk about that for hours. Just there's so much they could talk about and people would love.
Yeah. It's rumored that the script of the direct has gone out and
really has it really
localized.
Really?
That's just what I saw on Twitter, but it's rumored that the script has gone out to be localized and that it's going to be around 41 minutes or 40 to 45 minutes. And that's without like the final showcase, the final game.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It's so stupid that we get excited for this, but
yeah,
gosh darn it, I love it.
Yeah, it's always fun. It's always fun to speculate.
It's so much more fun to speculate than it is to actually experience them.
Well, yeah, because it's always more or less a disappointment. So,
and my problem is like the second I find out what a game is that's being shown, I'm like, all right, what's next? What do we got next?
Yeah, even if it's like something I'm super hyped for, it's like after like a minute, I'm like, okay, awesome, cool, Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, great, cool, get out of here. Let's move on.
Every time.
Yeah, it's just that constant like you need constantly drip
I need to
fed,
be stimulated. Yeah,
just constantly. Yeah, let's move on because I feel like we're gonna get stuck on this topic. Next up is was there anything else from the financial report that we need to talk about, or is that pretty much
no,
it?
That's it.
Okay. GTA 6 has finally been announced that it's being worked on.
The Mad Lads did it.
Which get rid of them more shark cards.
They finally finished the title screen of GTA 6. It is in development. They put the name on paper. They said, damn.
I don't know if I'm really excited for another GTA.
I don't care. Like I know it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be Grand Theft Auto. Like
I don't know if and I don't know if it's open world fatigue or if there's just been so many open worlds between 5 and now. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm sure this probably won't come out for another 2 years or something like that. But I don't know. I don't really care about GTA that much, and I never really did that much. You know, I mean, I played through 4. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I don't know if I liked 5 as much as I liked 4.
Yeah, I didn't love 5. There was one mission where you had to land a plane. God, the control. I feel like the controls were so terrible. But
yeah, controls are never really that great, especially when you're driving like flying vehicles and stuff. Yeah, I think 4 was definitely is really where I got into GTA and kind of also got out. I mean, they had, some of the best like the Ballad of Gay Tony and the what was the Motorcycle Club DLC? I can't quite remember, but like that was 2 pieces of like really excellent DLC, and they just did not do that for GTA 5. They just, I think GTA Online took off, and that's where they finished up. So I have no idea what 6 looks like. I'm assuming it'll be another American Dream kind of story that they always tend to tell, which is fine. Hopefully it's in I don't know what the location would be. Maybe it wouldn't even be in the United States. Who knows?
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But yeah, I don't know. I'm okay.
It's one of those things like we knew it was in development. Like, of course.
Yeah.
It's kind of surreal to hear them say it, because it's been what, 11 years, 10 years since
on everything now.
GTA 5 came out on the Xbox 360 and PS3. God, they straight up skipped an entire generation. It's crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah, so I think they said that they're planning on releasing it between 2023 and 2024. So, I mean, still a long ways away, just like Elder Scrolls 6. It's
like 3 years away at least.
Yeah, there's really no point in thinking about it.
No,
it's I don't shouldn't take up too much headspace right now.
Yeah, we got Starfield to look forward to, Bethesda wise. Hopefully that is good. Final kind of news topic of the week is It Take-Two sold 5 million copies. They just announced that, I think today or yesterday. So
which means
pretty
10
cool.
million people played it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I am as someone who's finally picked that thing back up, and I'm getting pretty close to the end. Yeah, the game is it's so much fun. I'm glad
it's pretty great.
I'm glad they sold that many, and yeah, they'll be one of those studios that I will always play whatever they put out going forward, because yeah, just good stuff.
Yeah, they have a really great vision.
Yeah,
at that studio, and it's kind of uncompromised with every game that they put out.
Yeah,
like they always they follow the vision. They don't care about what everyone else is doing.
Yeah,
and that is super cool.
Yep. Yeah, and that is going to wrap up the news. We did have a question of the week, which with all the recent acquisitions that's happened between Microsoft and Sony, of course, we got to talk about Game Pass at least once every episode. So, of
course, has Game Pass changed the way that you purchase your games? And we did a poll on Twitter, and 83% of people said yes. Didn't get any. I don't think I got any reasoning why. Infinite 20 did state that he's not that much into AAA games, so a lot of indie games come to Game Pass, which is awesome. Like there's so much indie games that come, whether it's day and date or if they come a year or so later. So Nick, I will ask you the question: has Game Pass changed the way you purchase games, or do you just kind of use the money that you wouldn't be spending on games from Xbox and just use that to purchase more games on Nintendo and Sony or PlayStation? Oh man, I would say yes and no. It's definitely changed the way I play games, because I'm much more willing to pick up a game on Game Pass and play it for an hour or two. Right. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. Yeah. But if I'm buying a game, like I put a lot more research in, I'll probably text you about it. We might end up splitting the game. Like, yeah. So yeah. At the end of the day, like even if I'm buying a game, it kind of feels like I'm only paying for half of it. Yeah, right. if we're both into it.
Yeah.
So yeah, like kind of like what Infinite said, I feel like I'm playing more indies via Game Pass, but I'm not necessarily holding off on buying games with the hopes that they're coming to Game Pass.
Yeah.
Like with, you know, like with Dying Light 2. Like I know, like, and I haven't bought that, but like I know that's not going to come to Game Pass anytime soon. But that doesn't change when I'm going to buy the game, or if I'm going to buy the game.
Yeah.
Something like Mass Effect Remastered Trilogy. Like, you know, we could have guessed that would have come to Game Pass eventually, but it didn't change the fact that we wanted to buy it and play it, as soon as we could. So yeah, I mean, it changes the way I play games, and I would say it just changes my perspective, because being able to play Halo Infinite, Gears, Forza, like it just makes me appreciate those games more because I'm not paying for them. I'm like, oh, this is really cool that like I don't have to spend money. Well, don't have to directly spend money on them.
Yeah.
So yeah, it kind of changes my appreciation for those games.
Yeah, I'm pretty much nailing the head there. You know, there are some games where like I would prefer to probably play on the Switch, play handheld, but if it's on Game Pass, I'll probably just stick with the Game Pass because, you know, it's more or less free, right? So I don't think if a game that we're interested in like right away, like again, we have the luxury of, you know, being able to split the cost because we have the game sharing. So it kind of feels like we're cheating in anyways. So, you know, it's not necessarily like a giant hole to my wallet or anything like that. But yeah, I'll also kind of just use Game Pass as like an extended demo service too. That like there's 4 or 5 games that hit that I either have never heard of or have been kind of curious about. You know, I'll boot them up, I'll try them. And if I spend an hour with it, I'm like, you know, I don't really like this that much. Like I don't feel bad for not continuing on because I didn't actually buy it outright. So, yeah, I use it as is this something that I want to spend my time with, and then I spend 30 minutes to an hour. I'm like, no, this is kind of going to be a waste of my time, and I'll just, you know, shove it off.
Uninstall it. Yeah,
uninstall it or leave it on there and then forget about it, and then the next game that I download is like, oh, you need to install it on the internal drive. I'm like, dang it, I gotta delete this.
Yeah. Also, the fact that we're paying $30 for Elden Ring, it's criminal.
It does feel like super criminal. But
lock us up.
Hey, so it is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, let us know. Let us know. The voting is over on the Twitter. But respond and let us know if those have if Game Pass has changed the way you purchase games and play games. Super curious.
And let us know if you're, you know, if you are mainly Sony fans or you play, you know, PS4, PS5. Let us know if you'd want a similar service to come to those consoles.
Yeah.
Because I you know, there's a lot of people that kind of dismiss Game Pass, saying it's kind of bad for gaming in general. But, you know, I kind of want to see what PlayStation's, you know, Game Pass equivalent would look like.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what it would be, but
yeah, I think their games are just too expensive and they don't generate ongoing revenue outside of like just people buying it for them to have that as a sustainable option. But you know, they bought Bungie, which is right now a live service company that seems to be doing pretty good. I mean, they
have a lot of active players still.
Yeah, they got a million pre-orders for the new DLC. The Witch Queen. So yeah, they're doing something right. So maybe Sony is dipping in that way. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I think I'm going to try to do like a question of the week every Friday, like post it on Twitter every Friday, something like that. That way it gives people plenty of time to respond until Monday. So I'll do that. But But yeah, that is going to wrap up the show, guys. Appreciate everyone that obviously tunes in live and has been downloading the show. If you have friends, family members that play games and are looking for a new podcast, we would definitely appreciate the support and sending them that podcast link so we can obviously build the community. That'd be awesome. Nick, where can they follow us over on the old Twitter?
They can follow us on Twitter and I'm going to get this right this time. Twitter @Gaming WT Bros. Yes. You can follow us here on Twitch @Gaming with the Bros Cast. And you can follow us on TikTok, another T app. You can follow us at TikTok @Gaming with the Bros Cast. We've been posting random gameplay videos and clips from the podcast on there. So check us out on TikTok.
Yeah. Give us the support. We definitely appreciate it. Yeah. Well, that is going to wrap up the show. We will see you guys next Monday at 8:30 Eastern time on Twitch. We may or may not be talking about a new Nintendo Direct. So that is very exciting.
Here we go.
We'll see.
Back at it again.
Back at it again. Got it full circle, baby. Yeah, we may have some earth-shattering news that's going to come out. So
future us, I'm really excited for you guys.
Yes, I mean we've got all these acquisitions, Nick, that you mentioned on Twitter. We got to have that buffer. We got to have the games that we want.
The games. We forget about the games.
Maybe we'll get a Zelda OLED model or something. Crazy.
It's crazy, man. I'll buy it.
It's crazy. All right, guys. We'll see y'all next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.